Naked Eye. Ah. Buddha Monk on the beat. Sub with me. Random. Get your vocab up like throwing notepads up. Get them high, make them look like your both hands stuck to the ceiling. That's the feeling when the flow gets buck. And plus, we're hardcore, so the road gets tough. Hit them from both sides like my vocals stand up. It's hard to open up since they programmed us. And I won't stop until local stands out. Pimp the underground with my broke man right. I throw stanzas and get dope jams cut. Digging deep, time to eat, get your soul fed up. I just wanna see the dome packed up. And get a standing O like every row stand up. I get boyfriends touched, pretty girls hoe up. I sit back and watch them both get knocks from the vocab spilled. They all fell in love. I keep it real cause they don't. To all the dictionary pages I've been read. To everybody that be loving what I'm spitting. To all the rappers who been thinking what I'm thinking. This is just the smell of what's cooking in the kitchen. To all the dictionary pages I've been read. To everybody that be loving what I'm spitting. To all the rappers who been thinking what I'm thinking. This is just the smell of what's cooking in the kitchen. Rap librarian, that's how we bury him. Leave you carrying sand with your chest stiff like a mannequin. You're a model for clothes. If we had to talk flows, everybody knows that swag is irrelevant. How is it better in your child's development? How can you build a house and ignore its elements? Read, it's unsettling. The rhyme schemes these kids are peddling. What the bleep are they babbling? My speech is happening, deep like reverence. Street and relevant, shouting peace to the listeners. For you, I keep it fabulous.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Hip Hop Nation TV. Shout out. It's another episode, another one again. Yeah. It's been a while, but we back at it again. You know how it is. Mighty Ecliptic up in here. Welcome again, guys. JHP South. Shout out to everyone that's gonna be watching. Yeah, man. Today we got one of the best, man, from Everton, Masat Ngosivali, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, JHP South represent Bafetu. We got Naked Eye, yeah, just joined us right now. So yeah, man, let's just go in already. King,
Yo, what up, King?
you good?
I'm good, man. I'm 100%. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How was the day?
The day was chilled, man. I actually had a picnic with the family outside.
Dope, dope.
We didn't go. We were supposed to go out, but yeah, we were running some errands and stuff, so we were a bit
Sure.
late. Yeah,
Word,
so
word.
we decided to have the picnic in the garden outside, and we were joined by a friend and her niece and her child. So yeah, we had a I had a pretty fabulous day. I was chilled pretty much.
Word.
Yeah. How
It's all
was yours,
good.
man?
Yeah.
How was yours, though?
It was good. It was all chill, man. It was all chilled, man. Yeah. Not much, but yeah, it was dope. It was dope. Thanks, man. Yeah, man.
Alright.
So let's start, man. Let's just introduce you. Can you please introduce yourself? Yeah, man, and tell us about how you started for the youngins there that are watching.
Well, this could be a while. It could take a long while. But I'm gonna try and keep it short, though. To everybody that's watching, that's gonna be watching this later, whatever. The name is Naked Eye, also known as the Beat Bender.
Word.
Real name Masilo Ronyani. Yeah, man, I was born in the Val. I was born in Everton, though. Just a correction on your part there. I was born in Everton,
Oh,
but I
okay.
grew up, I think from the age of 10, ever since I've been in Subuke. But they like just basically neighboring neighborhoods. So yeah, but I was born in Everton in the 80s somewhere. And grew up, I spent most of the 90s and the 2000s in Subuke, in Zone 12 mainly. So yeah, right
Word.
now I'm staying in Joburg. I'm staying in Johannesburg right now.
Oh, okay. Wait. Thanks. So, tell us about how you started as an MC and being a beat maker. You mentioned that you started with 1 2, right? With Dismantle.
Yeah. The bulk of my history of my journey, this mentor was involved in it. The major bulk of the beginning. But I started to work, man. I wrote my first script in like 2000, the year 2000.
Word,
Um, I was in high school then. I was doing my grade 10. That's when I was sort of first introduced to this thing. I had a friend of mine who showed me how to put bars together, how to just write and just put bars together.
word,
And after he showed me that example, man, like something, he just lit, it's like he lit a fuse in me. Something just happened. And like from that day, I've been writing since. You know,
word,
I wrote pretty much, but it was mostly poetry, or poetry style kind of raps. A lot of people perceived it as poetry. Then I moved on to like tertiary. When I got to tertiary, I started taking it seriously maybe about a year into it, a year into tertiary. That's when I started doing my first recordings. I started doing my first performances. I started off though like a poet and a beatboxer. People knew me as a poet and beatboxer only. That's the only skills I was sort of not too shy to show or give or share with other people. So I
word.
started off as a poet and whatever, but around 2004, late, I sort of gathered the confidence. Actually, the song After Government, actually, that
Yeah.
was my first ever solo, fully written out song. But I started writing it in high school. I finished it when I got to tertiary, though. And then it was the
Word.
first one that I recorded that was like my solo stuff, you know. But before that, oh, my history is a bit long. Before that, I got really into that 2003, I think, my first year in tertiary. My first ever real experience of like recording and being in a studio environment with other people and artists and whatever. I got recruited as a songwriter. There was this girl at the time, she was in high school, and somebody heard me rap. Her cousin heard me rap, and dude was like, "Yo," plus dude was in the music industry. He was a famous Kwaito guy. He was in some, I forgot the name of the group, and I've been trying to remember. I hope he's not watching this. He was part of a famous Kwaito group. He's the one that put me on. It's like, "Yo, my cousin is doing something like this. I want you to go there and just write for her and whatever." I wrote, and then I ended up being on like two songs that I were actually rapped, and that was like my first ever kind of recording. And then 2004, that's when I recorded that After Government song. It's like my first solo joint. Then I started
Sure.
featuring in other people's projects and whatever, around school, around VUT at the time. And then in 2005, that's when I met this mentor. Yeah. I met this mentor through a friend. There was a friend of ours named Thierry. And I say was because he passed on about a year or two later after he introduced us.
Oh man.
You know,
Rest in peace.
yeah, rest in peace to Thierry, man. He was from the DRC, and I think he had his mom or somebody, yeah, lived somewhere over in Belgium or somewhere. Then after his mother passed on, he decided to take his life and whatever. So yeah, that's the unfortunate part on that front. But he put us together in a sense that he was a producer, right? And he would always tell me to put together something like, "Yo, man, you gotta put together something, either a beat tape or." He knew that I made beats. I started making beats like in 2004. That's another story. I'll try and wiggle into that story right now. In 2000 yeah, this is 2005 now. But the dude was like, "Yo, man, do something. Like you gotta put something together. The single, do something. Like you go. I always see you rapping and you say you make beats, even though I've never heard them. But you know what I mean. You gotta do something about this thing. I feel like you're talented and blah blah blah." I was like, "All right, I'll do something about it." Um, then he started sending me beats. And 2005, this it was this mentor's first year there, in VUT, right? And by VUT there was a spot. I don't know if it still exists now, behind the
Oh yeah.
cafeteria. That's where we
Oh
hung
okay.
out. Yeah, that's where we hung out.
Yeah.
And I mean, like people like me, like artists, poets, all the
Yeah.
crazy, that the crazy deranged people that that people don't really pay attention to.
Yeah.
outside thingers, you know what I mean? Like people like that. That's where we hang out.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it was the one near the library, right? At the
Not
cafeteria.
necessarily, by by the back of the cafeteria. There was a spot right at the
Oh,
back
okay.
of it,
Yeah,
by
yeah.
the amphitheater leading to the gate
Oh,
of the.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We hang out there. That's where you find us all day, every day. We dodge classes, hang out there and spread love, talk bullshit, and we just basically had fun, hanging around with like-minded people.
Word,
So
word,
Dismantle would frequent that spot, and that's when he met Thierry at the same spot. And then
word,
Thierry one day came up to me. He was like, "Yo, man, there's this new cat who just got here. I want you to, team up with him, see what you guys can do. I'll produce whatever you guys do, and we'll take care of it from there." I'm like, "Ah, cool, no doubt. Bring him through." He brought him through. It was, I think, lunchtime or something. This mentor came through. I asked him to rap, got introduced or whatever, and I asked him to rap. And without thinking twice, he just spit a beautiful verse. I was like, "Yo, we gotta do something." And
word,
Thierry was giving me beats at the time, so he sponsored a beat for our first collabo. But we did not use his beat. We ended up going with mine, because I was getting better at it at the time. So
word.
we sort of picked mine, we wrote over it, took it out. People heard it, people loved it. I think we took it to VTFM, if I'm not mistaken. It got a couple of plays. People heard it and they were like, "Yo, man, you guys are nice together." And then immediately we started putting together. I have more ideas now to formulate more songs. During that process, we came up with the name One Two. And after after we came up with the name, we had about maybe 3 or 4 songs. I'm lying. From the first song, we had the name One Two, and then we put together like 5, 6 songs or whatever that I produced, and with that like one beat that was roaming around in there, unmixed, unmastered. Put this thing together. We burnt it on CD, a
Word.
couple of CDs actually. Started passing the CDs out to everyone we could see. If we saw you walking around with your pants hanging low and you had headphones on, we stereotype
Word.
people like that. We're like, God,
Yeah,
this
it
one
was heard.
has to like this kind of thing. Pass you the CD, and we passed it around, man. And within like a couple of weeks, the name was buzzing. The name was
Word.
buzzing. We were like, "Yo, who's this One Two? Who are these cats? Who are these cats?" Then we started performing. And then with the performances, man, there was a crazy synergy. Like my voice is a bit lower, and this mental voice is
Word.
a bit high pitched, if you had to
Word.
compare the voices. So we formed this beautiful yin and yang kind of thing that, people
Yeah.
were not expecting. He would
Balance.
come in with crazy energy. I would come in with like a calmish kind of vibe to it. And then it
Word.
merged, our styles merged beautifully. And then that's how we started making music. And then we did our second album 2 years later. We're now starting to tour, perform outside of Gauteng. We were doing, in the places in the Free State. We were starting to, be around and doing a couple of shows here and there, in Forge, mostly like your TUTs,
Word.
Vids, the
Word.
name started buzzing like quite a bit. And then we did our second album. And when we did our second album, this is when now we formed Diggy D Productions, right?
Word.
We was in the midst of it, and we decided, you know what, we need to have a bit of more ownership, to our music,
True.
you know.
True.
And we wanted the idea of starting the company was to protect all these ideas because we have beautiful ideas and we were working tirelessly. And then we wanted to
Word.
protect these ideas. So we formed that label in a sense that we wanted to incubate or sort of like incubate the start of the music making process, right? Like we wanted to be in charge of the making of the music, and maybe if there's someone else going to be involved, they have to be involved after the music has been done. But with this process here, this is ours. We wanted to own that. That's why we started the label.
Dope.
Yeah.
Dope. 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 So I mean, like you said before, you guys like sold like 3,000 copies, and then that's how you guys got to hype, right?
Yeah. This is now like with our third tape actually. We ain't done
Word.
yet.
How was
Yeah,
that
we were.
experience?
No, that was beautiful, man. It was. I mean, remember at the time the internet, especially in South Africa, it wasn't like the biggest thing. So these
Word.
magazines and these little radio stations, community radio stations. Sorry for calling them little.
Word.
These were the people that had our backs mostly, And
So,
imagine seeing yourself in like the only hip hop magazine at the time,
word, true
which
that.
covered ground like nobody's business at the time. Even if there's some labels that couldn't reach the numbers that Hype was reaching just by distributing that magazine with a CD inside. It was a huge deal for us. You know what I mean? I will not lie to you.
True, true
And
that.
we got nominated for best group even then at the MTN Hype Awards thing.
Word.
Was it Hype? Yes, it was the MTN Hype Awards. We got nominated. With the votes, we came second place. Last Day Spam took it. Unfortunately,
Oh,
shout out to the brothers, but they took it, and we came out second place, so we didn't get the award. But that sort of got our name around, man. Like our name was buzzing everywhere, King. So yeah, that was a beautiful journey. It wasn't something to be taken lightly.
word, word, word. Because as you said, even that you started your own production, Dig It Deep. How important do you think ownership is for artists? I mean, considering the fact that there's so much going on within the industry.
Yo, man, I believe it's very important, right? It's greatly important. I mean, you can case in point, check what happened now to a famous story that if maybe you guys don't know ever, that's watching the De La Soul story. De
Yeah,
La
the whole
Soul,
master thing.
yeah, yeah, owning your masters is the thing that I was trying to explain with having your own music in your control. Like whatever that you make in the studio, you have control over it. You are in charge of it. You own it. It's yours. If it gets used, sorry, by any other party, you have the right to negotiate any percentage you want, or even if you don't want to, you can say, I don't want to. I mean, take for example, say maybe seeing a person like me who doesn't necessarily associate with certain kind of brands and having just say maybe I had a manager or I had a label that owned my music, or I had a third party or second party that owned my music, and they would want to use my music in these brands or they would want to associate my music with these kind of brands. You have the power to say that you don't want something like that if and when you own your stuff. So that's I think is the importance of it. And nobody can tell you what to do, man. Nobody can. You have the power to literally say no or say yes partly to whatever that's been put on the table if you own your stuff.
Word,
Mm.
word, word. True that, true that, true that. So even as you said with the whole your first track that got you um attraction like fuck the government. Um what would you think like what do you think we can do like as a society considering the fact that if you look the past couple of weeks of what has happened, the looting and the unemployment of youth and everything. What do you think that hip hop can contribute into solving such social issues?
Um, Man, that's a very loaded question. Uh, like
or what do you
say that, yeah.
or what do you think our leaders need to do?
You just made it
Okay.
worse by involving those guys. But anyways, I will give my 2 cents. Right? I will give my 2 cents.
Word.
Um, and I hope like serious people are
We
not
don't get
watching.
you in trouble.
Because like yo man, it's crazy because anybody who tries to stand up or stand against what is the current norm or what is being perpetuated, they don't make it. People disappear. Mysterious things happen to people. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so I don't wanna
yeah.
end up in a ditch somewhere. I've got family, man. But I'm gonna speak my truth
Word.
because my music stands for this. You know what I mean? This is what I believe. Those are the things that I believe in. Things that when I make music or when I get into the studio, these are the things that bother me enough for me to actually make an effort about writing about them and things like that. You know, I believe that we don't have a government. We don't have a government.
Okay, okay.
We don't
True,
have
I agree.
leaders. We don't have leaders. We don't
Word,
have. We just have structures that are meant to maintain the status quo right now. That's what we have, right?
for you.
But the role, without getting too deep, the role that hip hop is playing, or my kind of hip hop is playing, right? Because I think that hip hop's voice has sort of been watered down. If you had to look
True.
at, the current mainstream, um,
Word.
yeah, if you look in the mainstream, man, like hip hop's voice has been watered down. True people are looking confidence in their government. Okay,
I think you were
okay, so
saying wanted to say lacking. Yeah,
yeah, I think it's lacking, yeah.
yeah.
But you know, I believe these are the things that I believe with the kind of hip hop that I'm doing, man. The message behind it is you have yourself to rely on.
Word,
You
word,
you truly have yourself to rely on. Imagine with the current status in the country or in the world, right?
word,
Myself as an employee, or imagine yourself as an employee to a certain entity, right? And this certain entity enforces certain rules that are against your beliefs, your moral stance, against everything that you truly believe in, and say that these are things that I stand for. If this entity now enforces these kind of things, and you find yourself in a space. I know a lot of my peers. I'm not going to mention names or whatever. You know, I'm not going to mention names or whatever. But I know people who did things under duress. Or
word,
stress
word,
or the worry of losing their jobs and their livelihoods. Having their livelihoods taken away from them if they didn't agree to certain things that these entities are enforcing, or whatever. So imagine now in a space like this, because I always preach this in my raps, like stand up for yourself. You gotta do things for yourself. You gotta learn to do things for yourself. Stop depending on the system. Stop depending on other people. Um, if you're gonna depend on other people, depend on them for your livelihood. Say, for example, I'm just making a random example. You have a farm, you farm cabbages. I have a farm, I have pigs. You want a pig, I want cabbages. We trade, life goes on. We don't,
word,
nobody bothers anybody. Something like that. And I mean, if you learned, I'm talking about now, bringing it home now with the current situation now. If you had to, I mean, imagine if you owned your own entity, you could decide whatever.
word,
You could decide
word,
whatever. You could like, hey,
word,
don't wear a mask in my shop, or don't wear a mask when you come to my house or my office, or wear a mask, or don't wear a mask, or sanitize, don't sanitize. You have the right to say that if you own something, right?
word,
And it's not.
word.
I don't want people to think that I'm speaking out of my ass here. Self-reliance is the thing, King. Thank you, Jammu Africa. Self-reliance.
Yeah,
That's what my raps teach, man. And
word,
this is the life that I'm trying to live now. And I'm hoping that whoever's listening, or whoever that listens to my music, gets to take that away, and see that there are people who at least care, or who would like to, or who are against what is currently being perpetuated, whether it's through media or other means.
word, word.
Yeah, I don't know if that
So,
answered your question. Yeah.
word, word, word. So as you said, like even after that track, you did random bars, right? Volume one, and
Yeah, yeah,
then
yeah.
now you've got random bars volume two.
Yeah, yeah.
Could you tell us like the whole production process with the first one and the second one, and what would you say is the difference between the two, and your journey and your growth between both of the projects?
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Okay. Let me start. Okay. With the first one I released in 2013. Um, I released it. immediate, like I had dropped in 2013 in January, end of January, I released my first solo project,
Word.
which was called Beat Bending Sessions Volume 1, right, where I
Word.
showcase my rapping and production skills simultaneously.
Word. Word. Word.
And in that process of the making of that project, on this is not before I got a car and whatever, I was walking to the studio, I would take a taxi, I always had my headphones on or earphones or something in the ear, and this was the time now I was heavily into like listening to beat tapes, just trying to study what other people are doing and gather the strength to sort of release my own beat tape, which was later mixed into like a beat tape with my raps and other things, the beat bending sessions, whatever, that project where I mixed the two. So in between, like when I was walking to the studio and whatever, I had these things on. I would listen to obviously like then I only had access to like international beat tapes. A lot of them, like 99% of the beat tapes I had were like from America and the UK or whatever, you know. So I would have a raps, every time I would hear this beat, I was like, man, if I had this beat, if this beat was mine, I could do this, I could write this to it, I could say this on this beat. And that's how the process started of making random bars. I wasn't aware that I was making a project. I was just penning thoughts, ideas. Most of the things in there, most of the is just like one verse songs, maybe like complete songs was like maybe 40, 50%, and then maybe 50, 60% is just one verse songs or whatever. So it's just ideas and things and thoughts that I would have at the spur of the moment, or maybe I would get inspired or I would get a line or I would think of a line while listening to these beat tapes or listening to some beat, and maybe a certain line would come or somebody would say something that would grab my attention, and I would write it down. Then I would formulate the verse out of that, or formulate like an 8 bar, 12 bar, 16 bar, 24, 32 bar, whatever, or sometimes just two 16 bars or three 16 bars. That's how I was just writing these things as I was walking to the studio. That Word Up, the song that you were playing actually when the show started,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I, uh, I did that song first. It was the first one to be recorded after this is now. I was actually testing the booth that I was building with Phonetic at the time after we had found a vacant room that we were going to
Yeah.
use as our studio. So I was just testing that studio that day. Phonetic was supposed to be in that song anyway, but he declined after he heard what I did on the beat. He was like, "Nah, I'm cool. I think that song is yours." So he decided to leave
Mm.
that beat alone. But that's how Random Bars One was made. So it was mostly international beats. I think there was only one beat where I took a verse from the song that I did with Yori, what was Instro's song, where he had like a couple of people on it, man. I remember Reason was there. I remember Mo Catalyst was there, and I think MJ, Black Les, and whatever. All these other cats were there. It was like 15 of us on that song or something. It was a lot of us. So I took
Oh.
only that part. That was like 8 bars. I put that on that mixtape. And by the time I had, like, I think I had about 6 or 7 random bars. I was like, man, I actually have a tape here. And I decided to add more songs now intentionally. I took out the first one. Beautiful success. Like, everybody loved it, man. I started performing it. I even did a tour for it about 3 years later. But in any case, I performed it. People loved it. Now, with the second one, I was a bit more intentional now with the beats I was choosing so that I could have ownership and rights to the songs. Because with the
Word.
first one, I cannot register those songs because I have them on other people's beats that were already published and out. And it's people that I
Mm-hmm.
don't really have access to. I would have
Mm-hmm.
to work my way getting access to them. So with the second one now that just dropped I think in May this year, I was
Mm-hmm.
more intentional with it. But Leona, how it got birthed was that I was listening to, shout out to my man's 5 Mute Decibel. I was listening to
Word.
5 Mute, which is a producer, an amazing, 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 like out of this world producer. In Random Bus 2, he's got about 6, 5, 6 or 7 joints, if I'm not mistaken. I'm working on something with him, Drew, I think for next year or something. But he's an amazing producer, man. Like, yo, I can never stop talking about him. He's amazing.
Big ups.
Yeah, so I was listening to an album he did with Melly Mel, right,
Word.
of the Assembly. This album is amazing, man, and there's interludes there where it's just beats.
Word.
Nobody's rapping
Mm.
with these beats. I started writing to those beats. Then I called him after I wrote to like three of them. There was three of them, but I took four actually from that tape. But I wrote to
Word.
like three of them. And I called him. I was like, "Yo, fam, I just wrote to this and this and this beat from the new album. By the way, dope album. May I please have them?" He was like, "Yeah, you can have them. What are you gonna do with them?" I told him I explained. That's when I first when you started explaining to me. It's when I was like, random bars. I was like, man, I'm gonna do this and this and this with them. He's like, take them. Took that. Then I started sourcing now beats, and he also gave me a catalog of his beats. He would told me to go to his website and go through his beat tapes, whatever that I like in there. If he still has it, he will give it to me. Went through his beat tapes, took about three other beats, four beats, wrote to them. Then I was like, all right, I've got about 6, 7 songs now. Let me release this thing. As I was about to release it, I was like, maybe I should listen to. I started listening to other people's beat tapes and beats, and going through my stuff and going through stuff that that I did with other people that never really got released. And I also did like a song. There's 2 songs in there, 3 songs in there that I did with like Second Thought, and I forgot the other guy's name from Australia. But I got a hook up to them through Mr. Monk. This is now when I was touring with them. I did something with them where I went to Tanzania with them in 2017. So while we were there, we're going through beats. We were supposed to like have a project together as a group, all of us, the people that were touring there. But that didn't happen. But we chose beats, and I wrote to the beats that we chose. Nobody wrote. So since nobody wrote, I was like, all right, I'm gonna keep these beats and these songs. Should I use them later? People they were like, cool, we can take them. So I took those songs, and then I remembered in the making of Random Bars that I have those songs. So I called them up, hollered at them, inboxed them. They were like, man, use the songs. I'll send you the original beat, the files, and whatever, so you can get that good quality mixing and mastering. I'm like, cool, thanks, man. Then, I remembered I have a song with somebody that in Cape Town that I did, that I'd asked for them to reserve for me. I did like 2 or 3 songs when I was in Cape Town in 2018, and I took those songs as well. I put them in here. So it's just random stuff like that, where it wasn't really like a formulated project that now I'm gonna be talking about this, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna. No, it's just random stuff that in between stuff, unfinished ideas, unfinished deals, and things that didn't go through that I decided to collect and put in one project and take out. And then the aim of it was for people to, because I hadn't released anything before this. I hadn't released anything since 2017, right? So it
Word.
was
Word.
just something people like, I'm still here, I'm still doing this thing, and I'm still doing this kind of thing that I'm doing, even though the world is trying to go this way, and I'm still sticking to this thing that I want to do. So that's pretty much what it was about. And yeah, it came out and it's still doing its rounds. I'm thinking of doing like I may do something either September, October, like a live
Word.
presentation of that tape. But I'm still working through my kinks and the stuff in life.
Sure. You just let us know. We'll definitely share it here.
No doubt, I'll highlight you.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. For sure, man. Hey, man. Thanks for letting us interview you, man. We appreciate it.
No doubt, no doubt,
Yeah,
King, no
man.
doubt.
Yeah, man. We hope we can also do it again next time, even if you release another project again. Are you planning
Yeah,
on
no,
releasing another?
no, King, there's plenty. This guy. Man, look, I could go on for days, man. Yeah.
Word, word,
God,
word, word.
okay,
So,
there's a project. Let me just, I want to plug this one quick because I believe it's something very, like, it's dear to me, this project, right? The
word,
majority of it is already done. Like I said, 99.99% is done. Like
word,
the recording and the
word.
mixing and the writing is done. It's called The Road to Godhood, right?
Wow.
Road to Godhood. This
Godhood.
project
Wow.
is amazing. Like I'm not even trying to oversell it, but for
Word,
me, to me, it's amazing. It basically takes you through my thought process, my thoughts, like direct in a deeper spiritual whatever level you may take it to. This album does it
word.
for me in that sense, right?
That God consciousness type.
Yeah, yeah, you know what I
Word.
mean. And another project that is soon to drop, man. I'm hoping Vince Black sees this and he feels the pressure. We need to drop this
Definitely.
one, the Black Eye Project.
Word.
The second album now. We dropped the first one in 2017, him and I in September. Now the second one, I even forgot the name of it. I think we changed the name or something. We're gonna call it the Black Eye Project when it's a self-titled, right? It's a beautiful project. Lorna is already done and dusted. It's sitting away somewhere in the shelves. It's supposed to
Dope.
drop this year, but
Dope.
I don't know when. And then there's another one which is very important as well to me. This one is the one that I produced now for Phonetic before he passed on. This was like maybe in the last
Okay.
year, the last few months leading to him the passing.
Yes, yes,
We
yes.
were working on something.
Mm-hmm.
Even like a few weeks before he passed away, he sent me two songs. He was like, "Yo, man, I'm working, blah blah blah. These are the songs." He sent me this
Mm-hmm.
song where he's rapping for straight 6 minutes, no breaks,
Dope.
no pause, no chorus, nothing. He's just going hard and going in. I was losing my
Dope.
mind over it. Yeah, but 2 3 weeks later, he passed away. But I've got that project as well. It's still in the works. Yeah, I produced the whole thing. I rap on like maybe two joints or something like that. He asked me to get on like two songs. Beautiful project, man. So these three projects are the ones that are dear to me that are coming out very soon. Hopefully before the end of this year.
Dope. 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 Dope.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, for those that want to find you on in terms of to reach to you on social media like Twitter and Facebook, can you please give them your handles?
Yo, on Twitter and on this platform on Instagram, it's naked eye underscore bender. Naked eye
Word.
underscore bender on both these platforms, and on Facebook, it's Naked Eye is the beat bender. It's a sentence like that.
Dope, dope.
Naked Eye is the beat bender. Simple English, no hyphens, no nothing, no strange
Yeah,
lettering or what.
yeah,
Naked Eye,
nothing complicated.
nothing complicated, straight to the point.
Yeah.
And if you want to get at me, like maybe bookings or whatever, my email address is Marcelo. Yeah, I said you say it's is Marcelo M12 at gmail.com. Marcelo M12 at
Mm,
gmail.com. So for bookings
dope.
or whatever, interviews and things like that, you can get at me there.
Thank you, Manaka. Salute, man.
Thank you, kid.
I
Thank
appreciate
you, man.
your time, man, and even the work that you do for representing
Nah,
hip
no
hop.
doubt.
And yeah, we
Yeah.
definitely look up to you, man. And yeah, for
No
sure.
doubt. Thanks a lot, man.
Wish
I
you all the
appreciate it.
best, eh? Hola, hola,
Thanks a
good
lot, man.
Manaka.
I will
Hola,
do.
hola. Oh, yeah,
Peace.
salute.
Peace.
Thank you.
Always,
Hola.
yeah, man.
Sure, sure. Hey, guys. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate for you watching us. Yeah, man. Shout out to my homie Tembela from Team and Show. Yeah, man. Shout out to Give Some Foundation. Yeah, shout out to Absolute. Let me see. Zulu Star. Thank you. Tabang. Sure. Jam. Shout out. If easy. Good man. Man, yo. Yeah, man. Guess that's the end of the show.
Bring about the light, pin it on the mic. The silent type, the killer about the hype. Channeling spirits through your audio device. Yo, this here must be audio delight. My audio device. Edible, audible and nice. Something you've been waiting for all your life. Vince was called in the studio to splice. And I to bless any podium in sight. Sweet and sour thing, cordial to mics. And I can even Georgia Portrait if you like. Ready against the current and take flight. Heavy, I keep on pouring to be light. Maybe I'm dope, that's according to his wife. Mainly, I'm hope. Lauren wanna write. Lately, I'm broke, it's getting harder to recite. Pay me in loads, I've been loyal with a smile. I'm normal with the style. A portal to the files, important for the divide. All this was designed. Hey, let my story be your guide. My glory be your shine. Think yourself as divine. Open yourself up to the signs. Hey, stay open, y'all enjoy the ride. I'm saying, open yourself up to the signs. Stay open, y'all enjoy the ride. Peace.
All right. Peace.
Guys, I'm out.